So today in this meditation, we're going to do a little bit of stretching just to release some of the tension and holding patterns in the body and the mind. And then we'll do some breathing. We'll do a quiet meditation. I'll guide you through it. And then as you are in the meditation, something pretty cool happens, and that is your energy begins to build up, and you'll start to perhaps feel some energy in your hands. Think of that as an energetic reserve. And I'll invite you towards the end to use that to heal either something in your own body or in a person. I'll guide you through it, but essentially you'll be using your hands, and I'll be asking you to imagine yourself or the other person kind of in front of you. And I'll take you through some of the moves that we use in polarity therapy that helps just to regulate the body's electromagnetic fields. So hopefully you're in a comfortable seat, and I highly recommend, if you're sitting in a chair, to take your shoes off and just make sure that you're not going to be distracted in any way. So turning off and making sure that you are comfortable in whatever position you're in. I'm sitting on a block here. You could be on your chair. If you are on a chair, just making sure that you're not leaning too far back into the chair. You want to align your shoulders over your hips. Relax your face, and then bring your hands together at your heart center. This is a signal to your body and your brain that we're going to be doing something a little bit different, going to be using your energy inward rather than outward. So get in touch with your brain and just tell it what you're going to be doing for the next 10, 15 minutes. And from here, you just release your hands onto your knees. We'll just do a little bit of work to release tension along the spinal column. So as you breathe in, I want you to arch your spine, draw the shoulders back, elbows back, gently lift the chin up towards the ceiling as you breathe in. And as you exhale, kind of scoop your abdomen around your spine, push the spinal column into the back body. We're going to go between the two. So as you breathe in, elbows back, chest lifts, opening up the front side of the vertebrae, front facing the world, and exhale, scoop your abdomen around your spine, pushing through the back body, kind of getting a little bit more intimate with yourself. I'll let you do another 2 or 3 on your own. You can go a little bit faster, or if you need more time than I'm doing, please take that. Even with these simple movements, if something does not feel right for you, back off a little, or do something that would enhance your practice. I'm going to take one more, the seated cat and cow, and then come to center. And just dropping one hand down onto the side of the chair or to the floor, reach the other arm up, and then just gently lean over to the side. Turn the head down towards the ground, and then turn the head up towards the armpit. Just work between the two. And then bring your head to center, closing your eyes. Take a nice long breath in. Imagine sliding the breath from the hip up to the fingertips as you breathe in, and then from the fingertips all the way down to the hip as you breathe out. And again, sliding the breath up as you breathe in, the way to the fingers, and then the fingers to the hips as you exhale. And then we'll take that hand that's raised up, we'll take it over the opposite knee, and just come into a nice twist. Keep the focus at the belly as you breathe in, feeling the push of the belly out. Exhale, the belly gently, naturally draws back in. And then releasing that, coming back to center. Just pause. Taking the opposite hand down, reaching the other arm up, lengthen first and then gently lean to the side. Turn the gaze down to the ground and then up to the arm, down to the ground, and then up to the arm. One more time. Getting out any hitches and glitches in the neck, and then we'll take that hand over the opposite thigh. Gentle twist. So what we're doing here is, first of all, stretching out patterns, giving ourselves more space, a little bit more structure for our seat, and moving the energy in particular ways, and then release back to center. So we're going to start by working our breath. Typically the breath is in one nostril or the other. So we want to try to move the breath into this equilibrium where both nostrils are equal. That is a conducive place for meditation to happen. One way we can do it is through alternate nostril breathing. Another way that I'm going to show you today is through something called Pada Dirsasana. So you're going to take your hands and your thumb is outside. You're going to take your fingers underneath your armpits. I would say like playing the bagpipes, but that's the Scot in me. The other hand comes under and tucks under. So the thumbs are out on top. And I want you just to press the elbows slightly in towards the lower ribs. Now, lengthen up through your spine, close your eyes because your attention is going to be inward now. I'd like you to go to your nostrils and as if you were a detective trying to figure out which nostril is more dominant. Pay attention to where the breath is coming in and out and decide whether or not your left nostril is pulling in more air or your right nostril. Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it's the right nostril that's pulling in more or the left. It doesn't mean anything. It's just what cycle your breath is in at the moment. Now here's the trick. I have my right nostril a little bit more dominant. So I am going to press into my right armpit a little bit more, squeeze in. And it will take a few rounds of breath to move the breath over to the other side. So whichever nostril is dominant, I want you to squeeze that armpit a little bit stronger and that you will actually create the breath to move to the other side. It will take about 3, 5, maybe a little bit more to move the breath. It's like meditation. A lot of what we do in energy work is trusting, is having faith. And if your mind's busy, just ask it if it could have just a smidgen of faith. Many things that the mind does not understand that exist and work. You might feel that the breath is starting to equalize now. I'm going to get you to just slide your hands out from underneath your armpit and let your palms rest on your knees. Palms turning up. Keep the palms open. So sometimes we have the thumb and first finger touch, but for today, I'd like you to have the hands open so that all the 5 lines of energy, which are in each palm, left and right, can be open. I want you to soften out the face, so soften out the brow center. Have your face like it would be if you've just fallen asleep. So just as you're falling asleep, generally speaking, the ears relax, the cheeks relax. There's a little gap between the teeth. And work your way down the body, noticing if there's any places of tension, holding patterns, and either adjust the body or negotiate by asking if that part of the body could release for you. You're aware of the breath and the movement of the breath as it comes through the body. As you breathe in, there is a gentle expansion from a central line of intelligence out. And as you breathe out, there's a kind of drawing back to the central line. And if it's just imaginary, There's some place that the breath moves from, out, and there's some place that the breath moves back to. Out and in and out. And then this little expansion, contraction. I'd like you to imagine that you could step outside of your body and look at your body from the front side. Maybe you notice there's some tension around the face or the jaw. On the outside, looking at yourself, relax that. And then walk to the right side of your body. And again, might notice that from the outside, you can see where there's a holding, tension, relax that. Go to the back of the body. Notice how strong and straight your spine is, how aligned the shoulders are. Let the shoulders be like coat hangers, everything just drapes down, but there's a lift of energy up through the central channel of the spinal column. Step to the left. Look at your body from the left side. And then imagine that you could see your body from the top, from the crown of the head all the way down to the tailbone. Imagine that at the bottom of the body there is a ball of light, and as you breathe in, the ball of light comes up. And you breathe out, the ball of light drops down. Follow this ball of light for the next couple of rounds. And then let the ball of light come to the heart center. Imagine that light diffusing out into the hands, both the left hand and the right hand equally, into all 10 fingers. And I'm going to ask you to bring your hands towards one another and don't let them touch, just hover them a little apart. You might feel there's a tingling in the hands. This is what we call tejas. It's the result of meditation. It's your energy that's been pooling. And play a little with opening the hands and closing the hands. And if you don't feel anything, don't worry about it. And just trust that it's not that it's not there, it's just that your subtle awareness has not quite tapped into it yet, but also trust that there's a part of you that knows it's there. Okay, from here, I'd like you to turn your palms up towards the ceiling and imagine that the person that you're wanting to work with today for healing, and it could be you, a very good person to work with, is lying in your hands. And I want you to imagine that your left hand is the back of that person's head. So see the person in your mind's eye, like a mini version of themselves. Hold the back of their head lovingly. And then imagine that right hand is just underneath their pelvis, underneath their buttocks. So in polarity, we have a positive pole at the head, a negative pole at the feet, and a neutral pole in the center of the body. So here we're holding the positive and the neutral. And then I want you to take an imaginary left hand and place it underneath the seat of the person, and the right hand goes to the person's feet. Again, imagine they were lying down and your hands are underneath them. Get playful with it. So now we're linking the neutral pole to the negative pole. And then we're going to complete the circuit by taking your left hand and imagine sliding it back underneath that person's head. So now you're holding the back of their head and their heels. Imagine your heart connecting into their center. You're not trying to fix them, you're just holding space for them. You might feel the tingling in your hands increase. Today is just a short session, so this would just be a little taster. And then take a nice deep breath in. Exhale fully. Smile at that person, kind of thank them for coming to you today, especially if it's you. And then we'll imagine ourselves closing this session off that we're going to bring our palms to actually touch now. And as we do this, it's like sliding doors. You've done your work. Bringing your palms to touch. Drop your chin down. Imagine that person's body floating back into space. Session's over, healing's over. And then I'll invite you to just lie down on your back for a moment in 1 minute Shavasana, corpse pose. And I'm going to hold space for you and do a little bit of healing for you. Again, all of this is very subtle, so don't be looking or waiting for, just relax and let your body be held, totally surrendered. Bones on the floor. Okay, to come out of this, please extend your arms overhead. Take a nice long stretch from the left side to the right side. You can pull your knees in towards your chest. Tuck yourself into a little ball. Roll over to the right side and then come to sit back up into your chair or on the floor. Finish by just bringing your palms together, pulling the energy back into yourself. And because we're going back out into the world for most of us to do, daily things, we want to create a boundary that we've moved away from this quiet meditative space back into being of use in the world, but bringing with us this kind of newer energy field that we've created through our meditation. So cup your hands, right hand over left, pull it into the lower abdomen, eyes stay open, take a deep breath in, lean forward, bring in the room, say thank you to yourself, thank you to your individuality, your uniqueness, your path, and I'm wishing you a super wonderful day. Hari Om, Om Tat Sat. Namaste.